whatever I do wrong. It happens. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Thursday. You know what that means. What a great day to be alive on a Thursday night here in Cochise County, Arizona. It's that time once again, ladies and gentlemen, for Cochise County Veteran-Owned Business, Thursday at 5 with Eric. If you blink, you'll miss me. Zebo. What's going on, everyone? How's your Thursday? How has everyone been? I hope your week's been going well. I have to say, sometimes, a lot of days are great. Sometimes days aren't so great, but you work through the punches all right, because most of the time you feel like you're way up here, but then people come around and they'll flush you down here. All you got to do is float back to the top, have the cream rise to the top like it always does, and you'll be back happy and smiley like he is. I'm still working on it. So, I'm still working on it, but it's getting there. But it's not about me. It's never about me. It's only about me when I go ahead and share other veteran-owned businesses, especially when I get new ones like I do this week. Not new to the area, but he's new to here. And that's what counts. Because now we get to share them with people who may not know, and now they'll know. It's a song verse. I don't know where, but I know. If you know, now you know. If you don't know, I don't.
I've heard that song.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to an individual that I have known for a couple months. I've been reading up on him and his wonderful wife. They've been doing some great things. I've been looking forward to getting this out here. He was supposed to be here a couple weeks earlier, but he has some business, and when he has business is good, and he's going to share that with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to have him introduce himself, because if I do it, I won't do it justice.
I appreciate you, Eric. Thanks for having me. First and foremost, thank you, God. All to our Creator. Glory to Him. My name is Ben McCorkle, veteran-owned business. T.O. Ben's Bites, LLC. My wife and I started. We're excited about that. We'll share with that. I'm a longtime Sierra Vistan. I've been here since 1980. For those that know that Montebello area, over off of Colombo by the high school, my parents were the second house built there in 1980. It's pretty wild to be here that long, but I'm excited. Again, me and my wife are building some things here, and it's exciting to be a part of it. So,
to say you're building a couple things here is an understatement. But we're going to hear more about that from the Sierra Vista original, the OG of Sierra Vista. We'll go with that. We're going to go ahead and run with that for a little bit. But let's go ahead and touch back into some of your early beginnings. We're going to go back to the military. So if you'd like to share what you did in the past, by all means, veterans love to hear origins.
Absolutely. So, just a little prior to the military, I am a veteran-filled family. My father, God rest his soul, he retired from the Army. He brought me here when I was 3 years old. My oldest brothers were all Army as well. I'm the youngest of four. I graduated Buena in 1995. I went on to college to play football through a scholarship. Played there a couple of years and got injured. Came back and started a career in electrical work, moved out to the East Coast just to go through a journeyman program, came back, and then this thing called 9/11 happened. Mm-hmm. So I was about 25. Actually, I turned 25 years old in boot camp. But I remember promising my mom, after my father and my three older brothers in the military, that I was gonna spare her that heartache. And well, I couldn't keep that promise, because 9/11 happened. I got into the recruiter's office the next day and served our Navy, as a corpsman, a medic, for 4 years. Did one enlistment, got out, came back to Arizona.
Okay, 4 years on the Navy. What areas did you go to by chance?
Oh, well, the military, they give you that dream sheet, right? Yes. Where do you want to go? That dream sheet. So I was like, San Diego sounds good.
The dream that
my wife is from Chicago. My wife Megan's from Chicago. All her family's out there. That's where I went to medical school and boot camp.
Okay.
So I was like, Chicago, we could stay here. But then they decided to surprise us, and my first duty station was in Newport, Rhode Island.
Okay.
About as far away from Arizona as possible, but beautiful, beautiful country. Mm-hmm. The ocean. I worked at the Naval Healthcare New England was the name of the that duty station, and I worked with chaplains at the training command with some Marines. I worked at the Naval War College with an amazing Doc Mach. If you're watching, brother, I've had great mentors along the way. But the Naval Academy prep schools out in Rhode Island, the Seaman to Admiral programs out there, officer in-doc schools. So Rhode Island is really a big hub for a lot of the training and stuff for the Navy, and got to meet a lot of SEALs out there because SEAL Team 6 was downstairs of our clinic, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, what a blessing to be able to serve our country. I don't take it lightly. I came out a different man. You come out a little more disciplined, get
Right.
life's a little bit more together. So I do thank God for that opportunity, and I just love my country.
Some things you may take for granted, they instilled, they brought you that more focus, more determination, more from being a dependent to independence. And I was learned a lot of great things and met a lot of exciting people.
Yeah, for sure.
So you get out 4 years after that, you head on back over to Sierra Vista?
I did. I came back here, and it would be 2006.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, I was working a little bit at Sierra Vista Electric again while I was deciding what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a medic.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the fire department, went to the hospitals, but at that time, military medicine wasn't accepted in the state of Arizona. It is now. Military training is now, but
Yeah.
I would have had to go to EMT, paramedic, all these things all over again. So I remember one day my wife came up to me and said, "Hey, there's a job at the mall."
Okay.
And I was like, "Okay, I'm an electrician and I am a medic. What am I going to do at a mall?" And lo and behold, I was given a shot there to be an operations manager. I do want to share just really quick one other piece. And the person that hired me there is no longer, he had passed away several years ago.
Right.
But I'll never forget one of the things that he told me why he hired me there. And it was because, one, I was disciplined. I was a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But two, he said that I had some construction background with electrical. But three, on my resume, down in the skills or hobbies or other sections, I put that I was a believer in God.
Okay.
And so then that was one of the reasons he hired me. And I was like, man, so there's still some corporations out there that'll still hire people based on their affiliation, with their faith and everything. So, but yeah, so I managed the mall at Sierra Vista from 2006, 2009. 2009, I got promoted, went up to Park Place in Tucson, managed that shopping mall for 6 more years, and then of course 2008 happened. Everything in the markets, brick and mortar, was kind of like, what's going to happen? Real estate, and so that was when I had made a change, and I went and worked for an amazing consulting company called Dean Bessing and Associates. I just resigned there after almost 12 years, a little over 12 years, I guess. Amazing people, amazing, team. But I'm here as a faith-based and a veteran-owned business. And T.O. Benz took off and allowed me to resign and become a full-time entrepreneur with my wife. And we're just so thrilled. We're so thrilled.
And from what I've been seeing, T.O. Benz has been expanding, if you will. They've been going to quite a different places. But before I touch on that, what was your initial plan for, what was your motivation to get into that business?
Into T.O. Benz?
Yes.
So one thing that a lot of people know, some don't know, is me and my wife are also licensed life insurance and annuity specialists. So we help people get life insurance, protect their assets, things like that.
Okay.
And our mentors in that business also own a salsa company in Tucson called Mouth of the South Salsa.
Okay.
So you put the chip together with that. I've been making the chips for a while. And, so it was a good partnership. And we were able to get into some markets and things like that. And you know how word of mouth is, and flavor. These chips, I don't boast. I'm a very humble person, but they're my favorite chips, and people love them. And so now we're going to pay it forward. We're helping other salsa companies, launch their products. And that's the great thing about having a solid chip, is we get to partner with ceviche companies like like Queen Ceviche up in Tucson. We partner with a company called Tacos y Salsa in Tucson as well. They have great salsas. So we partner with these other companies to get our product out there, get their product some more exposure. And again, God works in that way of partnering people with, with their businesses and help them both thrive.
And that's the great thing about word of mouth. I mean, if there's any more truthful, it's word of mouth, because you can see other commercials from other places and like going, oh, that's real nice. That's real nice. But all I know it's this. But you get that one person like going, dude, have you tried these chips before from Tio? I mean, get some of this action. Get some of this mouth of the South sauce on there.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're spreading that. Maybe doesn't get that push as other ones, but it makes its way.
Right.
And that's to me is the most truthful advertising there is.
It is. It really is. And it's one of my favorite. We don't actually, some markets that me and my wife will get behind the table and sell. Most of the time, everything is in stores, or we're in a lot of locations we can discuss here in a bit. But we get behind our product and get to meet people out there and get to meet other small businesses, And my favorite part really is when we have like a little bowl or we have a sample or something that comes out and people try it, just the look on their face. They're like, man, this is really good. And I'm like, well, it brings me happiness, And every single one of our products, one thing I love about it is we always handwrite, me or my wife, we handwrite a scripture.
Oh, nice.
So as you can see, maybe on this bag I gave you earlier, right here along the side is a little scripture. So I might be able to read that a little bit, but anyways,
I will share later.
Yeah, so and so people could just sit there in conversation piece, or maybe open their Bible app and just kind of give some concentration to God for a minute. So you never know, being in places like wineries in Sonoyta, the meeting room. Little plug here for them. They have a great event this weekend on Saturday for people that like the wineries. Go check out the meeting room. But that's one location. We're in the Sonoyta Mercantile. I have a cheat sheet. We are so blessed to be in Ace Hardwares here in Southern Arizona,
and that just happened recently.
Just recently, within the last couple of weeks, we came home from delivering to our Tucson vendors and to some purchase orders, and we were just so blessed because we had dropped off a couple of samples to certain places here in town that we thought that it would be a good fit, and we did. When Sierra Vista, actually, that Ace Hardware, once we delivered. It was right prior to a weekend. The next Monday or Tuesday, I believe, they said, can you bring some more in? So I'm going to get emotional, but it's just a blessing, Eric.
It is. It really is. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you always correct me if I'm wrong, nothing new on this station. Sierra Vista, I want to say Benson. I want to Bisbee. I almost said Douglas, see?
Yeah. Not yet. Not yet.
Getting it. It's coming soon.
Yeah, we hope to. So yeah, Benson, all of Patrick's Ace Hardware's, is three. We're excited to partner with them. We have a great stand that my wife, our marketing, I got to give it off to my wife. Everything. I can't stress how much I love her vision, her design eye. Everything is just her social. Everything on social media is her.
Just counter that's your strength that one's for the other. So
yeah, she's my better 3/4 for sure. She definitely does amazing things, and this isn't possible without her. But we are, in the Sierra Vista Food Co-op here. So one side of town we're on, in Ace Hardware. The other side of town you can go to the Sierra Vista Food Co-op. Tombstone, we just got into Tombstone here recently too. So now we're in the pretty awesome. We got into Rendezvous, which is a nice little shop there. And it's also called there's the Undertaker Espresso Bar. So it's a little coffee shop. But we went in there the other day.
Oh, wait, I know that place. Okay.
Man, Eric, next time you go there, ask if you can get the tour of the back. And you actually get to, it's Tombstone history, man. This is the Undertaker. This was the mortician. This was kind of a scary place, but it was very, enlightening to see, how that happened in the 1800s when they would bring bodies in to get them prepped. But anyways, Tombstone, and then of course we've got our Tucson locations, Dickman's Delis on the north side up in Oracle, and we just continue to expand. I think we're in 11 stores now. With Ace Hardware, I think we're approaching 14 stores.
It's like, and that's the thing. You expanded. You're hitting all these stores. You've got placements there. but you still do vendor events. And like when I first met you, I want to say it was March. I'm pretty sure it was March because I think I missed February for a reason. That's all right. March came up there, like you said, you had the spread, you had the bowl right there, you had ready to taste, and friendly as can be. I've talked to others, friendly individuals, and stand behind their work, like back your work, like back your products, like it's amazing. If you ever get a chance, if you see them out there, by all means, definitely go up to the table. Great conversation.
Appreciate that.
Definitely not going to like going, hey, yeah, you still going to try this shit? No. It's like going, hey, how's it going? Hey, come on back. We'll be here.
Yeah, man, that's one of my favorite parts is just shaking hands, meeting people, hearing their story.
Mm-hmm.
Having people share their testimony with me. I'm very open about talking about God with people and praying with them, and it's all for the glory of God, man. Like, I just want, I just want to see people happy, smile in my community. I love this community service, this home. It always will be. And, yeah, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed to be here, and I appreciate you having me here.
Of course. Like I said, I love to get new businesses out there. Even if you've been around for a while, it's nice to share that with the community. And I mean, a nice, amazing couple doing outstanding things, getting the name out there. It got all over the place. I'm just curious to know, what do you got coming up in the near future?
Man, well, continual expansion of T.O. Benz, there is a branch of T.O. Benz that people aren't aware of. It's like the secret menu, you go to In-N-Out and you're like, I want the animal fries, right? So it's called Megan's Table.
Okay.
And what that is her charcuterie company. And she just, it's just constantly getting inquiries and, hey, what can we do? And she's going to be doing the Happily Ever After event. That's going to be at the old door shop. At the end of this month, I think it's the 23rd, she's going to be doing another party for, I think, somebody that's going to be getting married here soon, a Mother's Day event she's doing. So she's staying very busy with that as well. So those expansions and things like that. But one thing I do really want to touch on is something that we just started a few weeks ago. And Josh at the golf course, thank you so much. I'm going to give a shout out. A great brother of mine, man, donating that place for us to meet. But we started a networking event called Kingdom Business Networking.
Okay.
And what this is focused on faith-based businesses in town. People that aren't afraid of the gospel, people that are not afraid to have a prayer in their space. I've had some experiences where I've gone into places and people are praying and managers and such will come, oh, you can't do that here and things like that. And, it's like, no, you can't tell God's people what they can do, and it's just, so not necessarily want to be a rebel in that cause, but I want people to be aware of who the faith-based businesses in town.
Mm-hmm.
Same with veteran-owned businesses. But the success just in a few short weeks, Eric, has been absolutely phenomenal. We started, I want to say, it was me, a co-founder, Dan Wilkins, and his daughter, and then me and my wife. And the idea was get these people together and sharpen each other's iron. Let's find out what this business is, what they're doing that's helping them be successful that maybe this business can use.
Okay.
And vice, and start to play. And not only that, I used as an example when we were talking offline was, people in the church when they're sitting there and they're having those day-to-day stresses,
mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a car problem or something. And they're just like, man, I got to find a mechanic that I trust, blah, blah, blah. They might be sitting 6 seats over from them in church. So we want to get with the churches, invite them into this network and have a directory at their church that says, hey, listen, these are the businesses that the owners are right here in this congregation.
Oh, yeah.
Go shake their hands. And guess what? That's going to help with jobs.
Yep.
These businesses are looking for employees often. And guess what? Then all of a sudden, now these businesses start to thrive a little bit. Word of mouth again. People are using them. Where's that money going? It's going back to the tithe. It's going back to the church and back to the kingdom. So that's the idea behind that. We're super excited for that to continue to grow. So
I like that.
The future is bright, man, and we're excited. We're excited.
Yeah, you got all that together, you got that whole networking thing, if you need a guy to push a couple things, I know a guy. I'm just saying, my card's out there. I work for the low price of free.
I love it, man. I love it.
Any way to help out, because helping out other businesses, especially when you can benefit from one another and it goes to a common goal and a greater purpose, that's amazing. I like it.
It is. And people just, entrepreneurship in a town like this is possible. I just want to say that it's possible for people, and there's people out here that are willing to take the time and share and help them create what they want to create. We have young 18-year-olds that are coming to this networking event, learning from people that have been in business for 20, 30, 40 years.
Yes.
And they're getting that experience. So it's to pay it forward. I'm focused on that. God said, go out and, shake hands, make disciples, meet people where they're at. And, I just want to help.
Yeah, that is the best knowledge you can get. You get those young entrepreneurs, like you said, and you got those ones who are brick and mortar, home business, anything in nature going, I've done this forever, or I've done this for a couple years. You may want to do this. You may want to look around this, but they provide the blueprint. They provide the template just to help out the young ones. So then they turn around and give back as well. So
it is all for the kingdom, man. And, so I think the future is man, we're focused. We're excited for growth and expansion, and we're just ready to see what God has for us next. And
what does the future have for T.O. Bites?
T.O.'s is going to be in Phoenix soon. It's going to be, crossing state lines. Mm-hmm. Once we start working with, these certain people in the distribution, we see it as a national brand. An everyday household. It's a unique chip. It crunches different. It tastes different. And that's just the chip. We didn't even talk about the rest of the product, the taco shells, the strips, the tostada shells.
Yeah, it's not just chips alone.
It's an experience.
You need to go to that table. You need to go, if they want to find you on the web, or if they want to find you on social, where can they find you so they can learn more?
So T.O. Ben's Bites LLC is our tag on Facebook and Instagram. They can find, again, if you go into Ace Hardware's down here, you'll see a stand right at the register. And a shout out to Hobby Lobby. Thank you for those stands. Those things are amazing. That's where we purchased those, giving back to another faith-based corporation. Mm-hmm. But it's our brand. It's a 3-tier, and all of our products are right there. Run into them. We deliver, guys. We deliver. Go to T.O. Ben's Bites LLC on Facebook and shoot us a message. If you're on a crunch on a Tuesday night and it's taco night and you're like, we'll bring you some shells. So
got to get that chip fix.
Got to get your snack on, we say. I got a shirt Mega made that says, get your snack on. That's our punchline. So
any last good words you want to leave with us before we go ahead and head out?
Eric, again, it's just been a privilege to be on here. I thank you so much. I thank you everything that you're doing with this and I just encourage people to get out there, try our products, share a picture. Hey, a lot of people like to take a picture. I just had taco night and stuff. Share it out there. Word of mouth is everything for us. And I just wanted to thank God. Thank God for this opportunity, for the breath that he gives me every single day, and for all the people that he's brought into our lives and all the people that will continue to come into our lives. I just want to shake their hand, say hi, give them a hug, and tell them I love them.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Always looking forward to it. Stay tuned, because I will be having those chips later on, and I will be more than happy to share that, because sharing is caring, and that's what I do.
Amen.
Hey, by the way, because we don't have the comments on here, just want to pass along TC from Making Friends, who supply our guests, who are special stars, are always here. He says, congratulations, keep up the great work.
Awesome.
All right, next Thursday, we are going to have another first-time guest, local artist. If you've been to Sierra Vista Mall, then you've seen his work, to include the big mural that has taken over what used to be the bulletin board.
Very nice.
So stay tuned for that next week. Also, if you are looking to go ahead and get in a 5K, a fun run, a fun walk, if you just want to go out there and enjoy the sights, I've been to the last two. One is a runner, one is a volunteer. We're going to go ahead and try and wear 2 hats that day. And that is going down May 23rd. So you have plenty of time to sign up. If you check on Warrior Healing Center's Facebook page, anything social media, you'll be able to go ahead and sign up for the 5K Warrior Resolve Series. It's the 3rd race of 3. Again, if you want to run it, you can. If you want to walk it, if you just want to make a thing, all the proceeds go to help out the Warrior Healing Center, who not only help veterans, but they fight for them as well. And also a very special shout out to our director, Dr. Tim Kirk. As we just saw today, if you check his Facebook, if you check Warrior Healing Center Facebook page, you will see he got a special recognition from none other than the National Football League.
That's awesome.
Big, very huge. You have to see it. You have to see it to believe it. And it's amazing. It's outstanding. Very humbling. And if you squint, you might see somebody you know.
I love it.
All right, that is all the time we have for today. Like I said, tune in next Thursday. Head on over to Ace Hardware and or to Sierra Vista Food Co-op. Or if you're traveling to Tucson or wherever, like I said, check out the description, check out the links. That's where you'll be able to see Ben and his Teal Benz.
Teal Benz.
Teal Benz. I'm going to be trying them tonight because I like it.
Awesome.
Y'all take care of yourself. I will see you next